right, so this demo is going to walk you through how I built up the shading in the cat's face, which is not finished, but I didn't want to do a complete demo and make it super long. But I think this demo will give you the general idea of how to take the techniques we use when shading the sphere, how to shade with clipping masks, and the pressure opacity brushes as well as texture brushes to create dimension and textured surfaces in your illustration. So let's take a look and I'll walk you through it. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to create your clipping mask, which you can see down here above the area. And then you're going to select the brushes you want to use in your clipping mask. Now, when you're applying shading with the brushes, I encourage you to try out different brushes for different effects. Here, you can see I am changing up my brushes, trying to find out where should the shading go, what should it look like. I'm doing it really kind of rough, playing with color, and then I'm getting rid of it and trying again. Because I got to find that correct brush, what size, what texture, and here you can see I'm putting down some bigger areas of shading, which is working much nicer for me. And I'm thinking, where's the light hitting the cat's face? Where's it going to be brightest? The light's kind of hitting the center of her face. And I'm moving back and forth between my shading brush and my eraser. The eraser is great if you turn down the opacity. You can take out and blend shading on your clipping mask layer. And then I'm thinking, like, where can I add a touch of color on her cheek? So adding those kind of details to bring the character alive. Now I'm making a nose layer and I'm just putting in the flat color of the cat's nose. And I like that the cat's nose in comparison to the face is going to have a kind of like a different shading style, a little more solid, a little more hard edge shading style. So I'm making a clipping mask and I'm putting down some basic shading with a hard highlight. And then I'm coming back and thinking about, like, okay, how does the nose gonna fit into the face? Where do I need to build greater contrast in my shading? So you can work back and forth between areas. Here I'm putting down some hard shadows, really thinking about, okay, this is a whole new clipping mask layer. I'm putting down this hard shadow because I want to build up a lot of contrast. I'm thinking about using lines in my shading, right? So to add those layers of lines over my work to bring in more texture, just using a hard brush here. And then I just turn down the opacity on that layer as I go. So again, turning the opacity down on these additional clipping masks. You can make clipping masks on top of clipping masks and shade this way. You can even do like a harder style shading with block shadows if that's the style you want. Remember to zoom in and out. I'm going to move on to the eyes now, and I'm putting down my basic colors. Okay, so I made a base layer for my eyes. And just for one eye, you're going to do the eyes on different layers. And now I'm coming in and putting in a clipping mask and putting in highlights. I'm playing around with, like, where do the highlights go? How much do they blend in? Using that eraser to tone them down, and then adding more highlights on top. And you can see I'm playing and experimenting with shape. Okay, and then I'm coming back to my base layer and I'm going to fade that line by putting that underline. So I'm thinking about the details that weren't in my original drawing that I want to add in. And now I selected this yellow area with the magic wand tool, and I'm just going to lay down on this area some texture to start creating that appearance of like the green-yellow cat eye. So on these layers, I'm not even doing a clipping mask. I'm kind of just selecting those areas and laying it down. All right, that was the end of that video. And so you can see here, let me minimize that. You can see the final work in here. There's the, oops, there we go. And so you can really see in here, lots of stuff to still work on, build up. That was really about 30 minutes of work. That is just the beginning of where I might be in the end. Zooming out, you can see, I think I still need to build up contrast around the eye. I need to do the other eye. Obviously, maybe give the cat some like kind of like dots where the whiskers are coming out, put a lighter highlight on the chin. So when you're adding your shading, you're not only thinking about where the shadows are, but also what areas need to get lighter. So I hope this is helpful for you. I'm excited to see what you do with your shading. Remember to explore and experiment with options, but always keep in mind, where's your light coming from? Where will it be brightest on the character's face and body? Where will it be darker? And what's going to be casting shadows? Like obviously this bowl, it's going to be lighter here, but it's casting the shadow onto the side of the cat's face. So think about your light source and have fun with it.